Just going to say some things from the top of my head, no script. I don't know about you, but I am quite sickened by all of this hoopla about Michael Jackson in the wake of the biopic released about him. Now, I don't use X, Twitter, as much as I used to. I use Threads a little bit. And there are so many adoring, uncritical posts or threads about Michael Jackson. And I can't help but feel that if he was or had been a less talented man, people wouldn't be so quick to overlook all the accusations of child abuse. There are at least interviews where he is saying, "What's wrong with having a little boy sleep in your bed? That's fine. It's no problem." Now, would you have let your child stay in a grown man's room? Sleep in there? Even if the dude says they're not in the bed together, would you have let that happen? I don't care how talented the guy is, okay? If he'd been a Terence Trent D'Arby, or, not throwing shade, somebody just a little bit less talented, okay? Because Terence Trent D'Arby was talented. But if he'd been not the king of pop, would everybody be letting this shit slide? And I say this as somebody triggered by it all, to be honest, because when I was about 13, 14, I had an old homosexual uncle. He'd been married, but apparently he was homosexual because he used to drive around my house during the school holidays when I was home alone and sidle up next to me on the couch and try and touch and fellate me. At least once this happened. So my antennae are raised when there's a dude who was hanging out with kids, and kids were indeed sleeping in his bedroom. And I know the thing people say, his bedroom was actually a whole ass condominium that he called a bedroom, or a whole wing of a giant fucking Neverland ranch or whatever. But come the fuck on, would you have let your child stay with a grown man like that, alone, in his room? Aren't there reports of him giving the children Jesus juice, i.e. diluted wine or something? I mean, come the fuck on. If this was not Michael Jackson, the king of pop, would people be so blasé about it? Would people... I got a friend in Tunisia I met online when I started opposing Israel's genocide in Thailand, because talking about child abuse, what's more abusive than indiscriminately slaughtering tens of thousands of children by dropping 2,000-pound bombs on civilians? But anyway, I got a friend in Tunisia. She's about 20 years younger, early 30s, and I didn't watch them all, but she had about 10 stories up about going with her friends to the cinema to see Michael Jackson. And I'm happy if somebody saw his biopic and enjoyed it and got a lot from it. But as I understand it, because I've not seen it and I don't plan to, it ends conveniently, oh so conveniently, before before the accusations come out. It ends after like the Bad album or something, all right? Before all those accusations surface. And people that age just haven't heard all the gnarly shit about him, because it's hushed up. And if you go online and mention it, you get his fans, as I did yesterday, saying, no, he was perfectly okay and your mother was a sex offender. Now, what the fuck? Apart from anything else, my mother's been dead for 20 years, and 99% of sex offenders, I'm sure, are men. But what the fuck? You're going to stand for some guy so hard that you're going to say some fella's mother was a sex offender? Tragic Stan shit. So that's how, just like Zionists will shut you down by calling you an anti-Semite if you criticize Israel and what it's doing and its settler colonial, apartheid, fascist, genocidal regime. They'll scream anti-Semite to shut you down. Michael Jackson stands, which, does that stand for a stalking fan? That just occurred to me earlier today. But anyway, Michael Jackson stands they'll put your photo up and say, well, you look like a kiddie fiddler. Or in my case, they'll say, well, you live in Thailand, so you must be into ladyboys and children. Not bothering to have ascertained that I actually met my wife in London and then moved out here later on, because living in England was no longer doing much for me. But anyway, yeah, that would just come with this nasty shit, just attack you personally. A Zionist will attack you personally, and a Michael Jackson fan will attack you personally if you say are we sure about this guy? Are we sure we want to be venerating this guy? I mean, yeah, music, great. His music, fantastic. His stuff with the Jackson 5. His stuff, he helped Jermaine Jackson make a few dope songs, a few bangers. His stuff with the Jacksons. The Jackson 5 morphed into the Jacksons. He's obviously off the wall, Thriller, Bad. I don't like the Bad album so much. He started falling off then for me, but a few good songs on Bad, a few good songs on Dangerous, produced by the New Jack Swing maestro Teddy Riley. His music stands the test of time, but I'm sorry, man. I know it's not the same because Gary Glitter was found guilty, but we don't venerate Gary fucking Glitter these days, do we? It's just gnarly, man. And I know that it might have been a setup by people trying to get rich off of his name. Just like some people say Michael Jackson probably didn't rape that woman. It was some woman trying to get rich. Mike Tyson possibly didn't rape that woman. It was someone trying to get rich off his name. We'll never know. Unless you're in the room with him, we'll never know. Because that's the other thing. People say, no, he absolutely didn't do it. But unless you were in the room, how do you know? How can you say that? It's ridiculous, man. Unless you were in the room, how can you be ride or die for this guy? Like, he was completely innocent, and I know he was. You can't do that. So I can't say he was guilty, but nobody can tell me he was completely innocent, because no one knows, and there was enough weird shit. Like, it's documented that police raided the Neverland Ranch and found, like, porn or pictures of... I read yesterday pictures of genitalia of STDs, and they might have found child porn, and I haven't looked into it enough because, as I mentioned earlier, it triggers me because this happened to me when I was young, and it made me question my own sexuality. Like, why did I, as a 13 or 14-year-old, let some paedophile uncle molest me when I could have punched him out? I know that because he was old. But when you're 13 or 14 and you're crushingly shy and you've been bullied every day at school because you're ginger, because I did have hair once, it's not so easy. So here's the thing. It triggers me, so I haven't looked into it. But can we just not glaze this guy uncritically? Can we just caveat it with, yeah, his music was fantastic. He had a great voice. He could dance incredibly. Unlike Prince, he didn't play 10 instruments fantastically or write all his own songs, but he was a major talent, okay? But can we not glaze him uncritically? Because it's quite possible that the man was a monster. That's all I want to say. I had to get that off my chest. Nobody will look at this. Nobody will look at this. Nobody will see this. I made this for my own mental health, to purge this feeling that the whole world is glazing somebody who may well be a monster. And in keeping with the idea of protecting children, free Palestine, because nobody has monstered children more in the last 3 years, and indeed over the decades. Few places or people or nations have monstered children more than Israel, dropping their 2,000-pound bombs that have killed tens of thousands of women and children. So, F that country, free Palestine. Michael Jackson, some of your music was dope, but I wouldn't have left my damn kid with you. That's all I'm saying. Okay, cheers. Peace.